Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta.
God. These PBRs I bought are from like the 1970s or something, and they've got
Oh,
these
these are the pull tabs?
they're little tiny. They're not pull tabs, but they're like tiny tabs, and they're like all tight against the base. So like if they've been sitting out for any amount of time, they're like wet, and you can't pull them off. And
You
it's
just gotta
pain in the
force it
butt.
open. Get
But-
I hate when they're wet and you can't pull them off.
You gotta force it.
You know, that was a rough one, but I think maybe made it fit. I think it worked. I think it worked.
So tight, you gotta loosen it up, Ryan.
That's all what she said.
You know, they did like the retro cans, like Miller Lite brought back the retro cans like forever ago, and I think that's what they have now. Elaine, I got some gold ones, but they need to bring back the retro pull tabs. Do you guys remember that?
Were they easier to open? Because if they weren't, then I don't agree.
Well, no, but everything was like retro is what's cool. You buy what you saw your parents and your grandparents drinking and stuff.
The
So.
coolest cans are easy to open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How's it going, guys?
Good. You got a different mic set up there, don't you?
Well, I had it set up like I normally do, but then it was blocking the A in the shirt, and always, when I transferred to State from Southern Tech, I did transfer as a marketing major, so I felt like I should at least own that up and have the brand right there in front of the screen. So
I feel like there's some news in there that you should say.
Is there a merch sale?
I wasn't going to bring it up, but if
July 4th merch sale?
Oh, you weren't going to bring it up? Come on, man. It's amazing.
No, literally, the conversation I had before coming downstairs was Kim was like, "Oh, you can talk about that," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to bring it up. I don't know if it'll happen." And then, like, as I closed the door to go to the basement, I was like, "Yeah, it'll happen tonight." So,
yeah, what's the news?
I am re-enrolling at Georgia State.
Woo!
Woo! Breaking news.
I'm not. I've been pretty open about this with everybody, but when I talk to people, we're always drunk, so I'm not sure how many actually converted that from short-term memory to long-term memory. But I never actually got my diploma from Georgia State. I did everything, finished all the coursework, but I was a history credit or a history exemption away from graduating and just never went and did it because I was working. Because I was a traditional Georgia State student.
David's pulling a Rodney Dangerfield back to school.
Yeah, they got rid of my major, so now I've got to take a few more classes to actually and that history exemption to get a degree.
I applaud your hatred for history so much so they didn't graduate. So,
well, it's like that regular like history 1101 class. If you take that class, it satisfies the requirement for. It's actually two exemptions. It's a U.S. history test or whatever, and a Georgia state of Georgia history thing. But there's exemption tests you can take to get out of it, or you can take the class and.
I actually, you guys made fun of the history class in general. I considered a major in history and U.S. history specifically, but then was like, what the hell do you do with that? That's not that. Yeah, I can Google stuff and look it up and be like, neat all day, and then go like make real money being a developer, which I'm not even a developer anymore. But
but anyway, what you do? You know what you do as a history student?
You bartend,
right?
You become a history teacher.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't want to go write a bunch of white papers. And,
actually, I think history is a very, very big pre-law degree.
Politics in general would be something that you could probably get into as like a consultant and stuff, and probably make okay money, but there's not a ton of money in that.
Yeah,
I feel like when I transferred, I had to take that Georgia course.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I don't want to learn this one bit.
They talk about stuff like WSB TV coming to or going on the air and crap. Like it's all kinds of weird stuff. But
there was a heavy Atlanta slant to it. I remember we had a book.
Well, I mean, we are in
Atlanta, so
and WSB was important. Like nationally, like I mean, they nationally syndicated people, so it's a big deal.
Kind of interesting. I will tell you that there is my experience. I've got my acceptance back in, and I'm going through all the steps to get registered for class if I can get classes available. I mean, I can't even figure out what my classes are. Georgia State University is operating about as efficiently as Georgia State Athletics. I can't log into Panther Mail. It just fails on me. I've sent an incident ticket to Georgia State IT, no response there. I have like holds on my account because they need proof of residency, which I guess is fair or whatever. But I can't schedule an appointment with an advisor because I can't get these other things taken care of exactly. So I get error, and then I have like 3 different acceptance letters that all pretty much have the same instructions, but you got to go in a different order. I don't know. Athletics and academics are not as far apart as we think they are.
I think they haven't plotted you out as like a thing that could happen. No student's going to come back.
Well, I think there's a big difference because also like one of the things I have to do now is like watch some 45-minute intro video. It's like one of these corporate computer-based training modules of like, but like kind of it's start at state is what it's called, and it starts off like Blake, welcome you to the university. And it's definitely geared towards freshmen, first time enrollees, not towards re-entry students. But I'm going through it. I'm like, they keep on talking about perimeter college a lot. And then I get to the point where like academic requirements and it's like associate's degree. And I think I got put on the associate's track for this module. Like my major and all that kind of crap. All that kind of stuff all says, Blur's, business, all that kind of stuff. But this computer-based training model or module is all about the associates program at Georgia State. I'm like, do I really want to spend 45 minutes finishing this thing just to find out I've got to do the bachelor's version of it later on? But I can't talk to anybody yet because I can't get the email working. They won't talk to you unless you have the email. Yeah. But
you have like positive. An old Panther mail account. It can't.
It's my same email address I had back then.
Nice.
It's the exact same ID. Yeah.
Can you imagine all the email you're gonna get?
There's got to be so much spam in there. But one thing I will say positive about it that I really liked to see is in all these videos, the intro videos, Georgia State athletics is featured prominently in there. There's a lot of clips of football, a lot of clips of basketball, and it's Center Park and it's the Convocation Center, the box. It's all the new stuff. They're not showing Sports Arena. They're not showing Georgia Dome. It's all the new stuff. So, and they even mention joining Georgia State, being part of blah blah blah, the athletics and going to games. So they're
that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, did the video actually tell the student to go to the games?
Well, it said what you will do when you're here is you'll go to class, you'll make friends, you'll go to sporting events.
They're talking about it. Face off.
Yeah. I am wondering if there's like some kind of like student internship with the athletics program. I can try to be like that near 50-year-old student intern with athletics.
They have internships. You should go for it.
But I do like Ryan's idea of just embracing this like back to school Rodney Dangerfield, just walking around. Hey, no respect around here.
You're our man on the inside, David. You can tell us all the things.
We'll see. I think the classes I need aren't available until spring, so this may be a little early.
You're our
I get that history exemption taken care of. All right. Enough about me. I'll talk more about me later, probably. So, all right. There's a video that came out today, or I saw today on TikTok, and I shared it in our group chat, and it kind of spurred an idea to talk about tonight since we're still off season-ish. We're very hardcore off season, and it was somebody that's like kind of talking about football stadiums in Georgia or just in general college football stadiums. I'm not sure which one it was. So they picked Center Park, and they're talking crap about it, and a lot of the things they said, not untrue, but I think they were pretty harsh on it, and it just kind of gave me this idea. There's a lot of internet trolling crap that people say Trash Down South fans or the other Sunbelt fans or whatever say about Georgia State. And I was like, let's just talk about that. Let's talk about all the trash that's talked about Georgia State and whether they're right or whether they're wrong or, what it is. What do you guys think?
I like it. What's the first point that you want to talk about?
I mean, I think because that video was, I think we should talk about, the insult that we play football in a baseball stadium. Is that really an insult?
No, not at all.
It's not a baseball stadium.
It wasn't a baseball stadium.
Baseball there, but right. It started as something else. So, like, what do you want here? We redid it. We redid it quite well for how many people show up. I'm not mad about it, right? And they even covered up the top in a way that I thought made a lot of sense and looks pretty good, and doesn't make us look like we're playing in a giant stadium that that's not very full. even though we are.
If you're gonna make the insult, though, if you're gonna insult it, you got to get it right. We were playing football in a former track and field stadium.
Exactly.
Right.
All we did was remove the track around the field. That's all we did, and turned it into a football stadium, right?
I mean, has App State even done that yet?
I think
they did.
Think they have.
Yeah.
I think they have.
I mean, they just did it though, right? I mean, that was a track and field stadium, is what that was. They had a field, they had a track, they had a track and field stadium.
I think part of it, what it takes to be an insult, is it's got to kind of get to you when they say it, and it's not calling it a baseball stadium that gets to me. That I mean, it just kind of reinforces, because this is mostly a trash down south comment, and it doesn't bother me that they say it's a baseball stadium. I'm just tired of hearing. I'm like, God, think of something else. But it's just dumb.
I just don't even hear it as an insult. I'm like, yeah, so the Braves, an MLB team, had this as their professional stadium where they came to work every day and played ball. How is that a bad thing? Like, what is that? How is that a negative? I just don't. What?
Yeah, we play in a facility that hosted the Olympics, that hosted multiple World Series, was, the heart of baseball in the state of Georgia for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, what do you want? You want to just tear down this huge facility, spend millions of dollars in demolition to build something else. When we played at the Georgia Dome, you don't have an on campus stadium. You don't even have a real stadium. You rent a stadium. All right, cool. We just had a stadium come available, so we bought it, and we play football there. I don't know. They're clinging on something to make fun of, because they can't cling to the record at all.
Yeah.
If we go back in time, we had, if you remember, the option of building a erector set stadium like UCF did on the northern end, and then they were going to demolish Turner Field, and we chose not to do the erector set. So which would you rather have, like this or the erector set?
Honestly, I feel like if we had torn down Turner Field and built the erector set, we'd be made fun of for playing in a Lego building, having torn down.
Turn that down.
Oh, that would be, and I would feel bad about that though. I would actually be like, yeah, man, that is pretty shitty of us. Like that.
Wait, that's what we should have done. They were Georgia State. Why did not we do that?
That's the thing, is I feel like the stadium is sort of best case scenario for us. Like, out of everything that was an option, we found our path that was like the happiest path, and actually took it, which is so weird for Georgia State. And like, I just won't even. It just baffles me that people like shit on the stadium, because I'm like, it's such a nice stadium.
It's a professional sports venue. Stop.
I grew up going to Sanford Stadium, watching Bulldogs play there, and I will say that Center Park Stadium is objectively a better stadium today than it has ever been there in Athens.
Yeah. Hell, it was built 100 years later, right?
I mean, so that's the thing, is a lot of college football programs are really, they go into the tradition and they want to keep the stadium. They don't want to tear it down and do that. Like even Bama, when they sink money into it, they don't tear it down and build like a state of the art thing. They're adding in a screen. They're putting a wall in. They're adding in bleachers somewhere. They're editing. They're not tearing it down and building again, because tradition is really important. And so we decided we're going to keep a tradition alive in Atlanta that we're going to maybe hopefully be able to like grab onto and grab the football and run with it. And I'm done with it, man. I love that story. It's one of the few Georgia State stories I love.
Especially, like, just look down the street with the Georgia Dome and Mercedes-Benz. Georgia Dome was built, since I moved to Atlanta, and I, as a season ticket holder at the time that they tore down Georgia Dome, I was perfectly happy with it. I mean, was it older? Not really by modern day standards, but it was older.
Not even.
But I mean, like, I mean, it was younger than me and was being destroyed. But I was perfectly happy with it, and granted, Mercedes-Benz is fantastic. That's great. It's an international landmark, and kudos to the construction of Mercedes-Benz
for about
Stadium.
5 more years.
Right. But also, I mean, I missed the fact that Georgia Dome was a thing. Everyone knew Georgia Dome. You know, it was a thing.
It was a bar stop.
Hey, it's where what was it? Was a show Blue State Mountain? What was that show?
Did they film there? What?
The very first episode, they play in a dome in the very first episode, and the aerial is like B footage of the Georgia Dome.
Nice.
Well, and you know, Yin Yang Twins have that song called Georgia Dome, and it's all about getting head.
Yep. When the dirty
second floor in the corner. I'm just kidding.
The classic.
No, but my point is, like, you know, I miss the fact that we have the Georgia Dome. I love Mercedes-Benz, but I miss the Georgia Dome. You know, how many memories do people in Georgia have of Turner Field? And that could be just completely erased by tearing the whole thing down. And now there's more life being pumped through there. Let's enjoy it. I think honestly we should be doing something to really promote that even more, and trying to like market to Braves fans. You're like, you know, when's the last time you came to a game at Turner Field? Come watch Georgia State football play. You know,
dollar seats. Throw out dollar seats.
Now I will say, if you are a Trash Down South or any, you know, fan of another program and you want to make fun of Georgia State, you know, call it a baseball stadium, whatever. It's in one ear, out the other to all of us. However, if you want to tell us that we've done a horrible job of keeping it up, I have no argument to that one. We've done a horrible job keeping it up. It looks like, you know, it needs pressure washing. It needs some plumbing work. It needs a lot of effort in there. But
the first three games last year, they needed, you know, somebody to just clean up the garbage.
Yeah. Wait, should we start a GoFundMe for that instead of flags for the cheerleaders?
Have you guys raised the money for the flags yet? Because if
no, we're still working on it.
You can't just give that up, you know?
We're still working on it. We're still working on it, though. But it doesn't.
My kid, man.
It needs some pressure washing. It needs probably some renovations to the restrooms, but not hugely. I mean, look, I go to Georgia games. The bathrooms are not anywhere better than what you have at Sanford Stadium. They're not.
Yeah.
Ours are probably better than Sanford Stadium.
A lot of the places they are better.
They're better. They're better than the Superdome. I'll tell you that much. That place is a dump.
Oh, that's still a dump. But I mean, you know, I know people complain about the upper deck, getting rid of that, right? Where we don't need all the seats. Yeah.
Well, you know, and so
if we had all the money, we would, right? Absolutely.
Well, of course. Yeah. If we could just get rid of it and then add it back willy nilly, like if and when we, you know, had the fans to support it, then by all means. But like, if we don't have the money to even, you know, revamp the seats or something like that, why would we destroy a bunch of the stadium and just so we could build it back in the future? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah, we could spend millions of dollars on so many other things than doing that.
And I think they handled it tastefully. Like the covers are fine, and it's Georgia State spelled out is real nice. And
I like the covers. I think they're
great. I was gonna say, I remember, like, you know, when I've seen other programs do the covered seats because lack of attendance. I'm specifically thinking of Jacksonville Jaguars when they tarped off a bunch of their sections a long time ago. You know, I kind of like thought it was, you know, pretty lame, but I do like the way it looks. Having Georgia State Panthers wrapped around the field, you know, bias, you know, blue lens sunglasses. I get it, whatever. I think it looks good. I like it, and it gives me hope. You know, Georgia State's all about the potential thing, and it gives me hope for that potential of one day where, you know, when we do get everything filled out, which leads into the next dig we get, is, you know, that we have room to grow. You know, other stadiums, you know, who is it? We were talking, was it Lafayette or whoever? And I know Jimmy Madison's doing it this season too. They're having to tear down sections of their existing stadium just to either build better spots, or I guess it's actually less seats. But we have that flexibility. We can move up for next to nothing. It's already constructed.
We have the perfect size stadium. It's like, what, 25,000 seats, give or take 100 here or there. But we don't need the upper deck yet.
Yeah.
But if we do build the program and then we need seats, well, guess what? We just uncover a section of seats or two.
We need to spend a marketing slogan when it's time. We need to use, like, you know, time to upper deck the state or something like that. You know?
Yeah. You talk about like blue tinted glasses though, and like we've not shown any qualms with talking shit about our own program on here. Like we're perfectly capable and fine, and it sounds like maybe the next point I will even agree with. And but like this one just ain't it. This
Yeah.
just ain't it. This is
Right.
like
So-
I said, one of the one things we've done right over the years, and I will celebrate it.
I think one of the
And
other
like-
things that comes up a little bit with TDS fans and others is the sight lines, because they left the sight lines for baseball, but I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know. Where's the
I like
value in destroying all of those lower level seats and realigning it? There isn't
Right.
any. Like, it's not worth it. Like, the return on investment is zero. No one
Yeah, just don't
gives-
sit there. Those seats are like just move over. If you don't like the sight line where you're at, just move. It's not hard. There's plenty of seats.
I don't know. I've sat down there. It's not bad. I mean, yes. Are you at
Exactly.
an
So that's
angle?
the other thing is, and if they're fine, then sit there and shut up.
Well, it was
Either way,
built to
shut
be-
up.
I mean, please. It was built to be a stadium for a game that is played at that low level. You were meant to be like right there looking at a third baseman or a left fielder, like right there. You were built to be looking at that spot on the field. So yeah, it works out well, I think.
Angle towards the 50. Done.
Yeah. I mean,
All right,
I
what's
get
the next
that old home plate area looks a little awkward or whatever, but I'm like, oh, I think that's kind of cool. It shows the history of what the stadium is, and then
looks-
that's the same way. Same
I
way
was
it
gonna
was
say,
back in Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool in college football 26, whatever the hell they call it. The intro where like the players actually come down to that corner, which was home plate. I was like, man, that'd be cool if we had enough fans there.
Yeah, actually, I was trying to.
that.
I waited too long. I know I've seen the video, the intro video. I was gonna try to pull it up so we could like kind of Misty 3K it on here, but I don't have it.
I haven't seen it, so
maybe we can do that next week.
Next
We can get a Ryan live reaction to the video. He's trying to look for it right now.
No, Ryan, don't look. Don't look.
I can tell when Ryan's doing something. His face illuminates when the screen changes. there it is.
Boom.
All right, the next dig. So all right, so we agree. The baseball stadium dig is just in one ear, out the other. I think it's very, very similar to the 28-3 thing with the Falcons. Everybody that says it feels like they're saying something that we've never heard before. Like, whoa, we play in a baseball stadium. I've never heard anybody say that before. You're so original. You brought up a point that's never even crossed my mind. Shut up. You're dumb.
Damn, wait, we play in a baseball stadium?
Never heard of it. All right, so the next one, it's a legit insult, attendance. But
shit, we just
does it really like why when you are talking to an opposing fan and you talk about their attendance at a game, you're talking to a fan that actually goes to games. So you're not talking about them. You're not digging on me. You tell me you got nobody that goes to your games. Well, I'm there. Like, I'm there. Like, I don't know what your insult is. Somebody else didn't go. All right, cool. That's a them problem. I get it. I would love to have more fans in the stands. It'd be great. I honestly wish more people tailgating is what I want. But
well, one thing leads to another.
Exactly.
Whoa.
I'm out of beer in my cooler. There's beer inside there and a game to watch. Let's go.
Yeah, the attendance thing it bothers me. Like I don't like our attendance, and I will say that while I think it's very fair to go out there and say that other Sunbelt teams, specifically all other Sunbelt teams, also have bad attendance. We are probably on the worst side of things as far as that goes. We probably are on the lower side of things as far as attendance goes.
For as many seats as we have available, yes, it does give a very, very bad impression. But then again, we also push a lot of people to that upper level, that mid level, that don't get seen on camera quite a bit. But yeah, if we had pushed everybody into fewer sections, it would look better. But
I think we still raw numbers were lower than a lot of the other programs. It's hard to tell because everybody lies, including us. Yeah. Everybody just reports the best thing.
Oh, not Trash Down South. It's every single spin of that turnstiles. All they count. That's all they count.
All right. Well, they're liars, but
I agree.
Well, you know what? They might not be liars. They might just be stupid. Which is probably more probable, right?
They would be the only program in all of college football that reports purely butt in seat.
It's dumb. That's a dumb thing to hang your hat on. But like, I just It bothers me, but like it is a problem that is widespread in the Sun Belt specifically. It's widespread at the top level. Like people at UGA are. I'm sorry, I keep bringing them in,
That's fine. It's
but
fair.
like they complain that they can't fill Sanford Stadium for most games, right? Like when they play LSU or Bama or
Different. Yeah.
they can fill a stadium then, but when they're playing their 4 or 5 cupcakes a year, they cannot fill those seats. And they have a big problem with that. And it sucks. And they're not alone, right? I mean, they're national champs and still can't do it. So attendance is a problem that everyone is dealing with because people just aren't going to live games.
Right. And we don't have the luxury of starting off really strong and maintaining a good number of wins per year. Atlanta's a fickle crowd. It just is. And winning 7 and then winning 2 and then winning 6 and then winning 3, I don't know. That's going to be tough for a lot of fans to really get behind and support a team. Take my beloved Atlanta United.
It's in my notes, Tim, to ask you exactly about this question you're bringing up. Yep.
I mean, that was premium. You could resell your tickets for like $50, $60, $65 a pop. Now you can
that's like year one when they were like came out the gate and
the first 2 or 3
all
years.
the way through all the way through 2019. You could say that was easy. Then all of a sudden we started to suck. And we've continued to suck. And like I tell you, like sometimes you gotta sell your tickets for like $10, $12, $15. Like or you just don't sell it. It won't move. Like you're not getting anything. But that's reality. And then the attendance has dropped off. I mean, it's definitely not as packed as it used to be. The whole atmosphere is a little different. I mean, United fans will tell you differently, but I'm a United fan. I'm telling you, it feels weird.
Yeah, that's an Atlanta thing. The Braves struggled at Turner Field. The Braves struggled for attendance during the regular season. Make the playoffs, bam, packed house. But when we had, that's one of the big news points is when we had that very first football game ever in the Georgia Dome against Shorter College, 41-7 win. One of the news articles, when the line items was there was playoff baseball happening, or playoff team baseball happening down the street, and we had 31,000 people that showed up for that game. Atlanta is a fickle crowd. They search for an event. They're bandwagon fans, so they follow whatever the hot thing is. When the Falcons were playing really well and you made it to the Super Bowl, that the place was packed. I have been a season ticket holder for the Falcons almost as long as I've been a season ticket holder for Georgia State. And I see it every Sunday. I mean, the place is empty in comparison to what it used to be. And granted, Mercedes-Benz has a lot of stuff going on in the concourses that kind of draws people out to the bars and the restaurants and all that kind of stuff, which, you can argue about whether that's a good thing to have for the environment and everything. But, it's Atlanta. Georgia State's always going to face that problem, and then it just goes back to, we've only had football for 15 years.
Right.
We haven't really excelled at it at any point. The majority of our alums finished school decades before we even started football. It takes a while to get there,
Yeah.
So
it does take a good strategy with your athletics administration, the university, to kind of foster all those fans that want to come to football games when they become students and come to football games when they graduate. I don't know if we're doing that very well. I don't get the feeling we are. We have Ryan, your brother, I think, right? Went to Georgia State. And I just know plenty of people that went to Georgia State that have not gone to a football game ever or a basketball game ever.
I think my brother came to one, maybe.
I mean, one's good.
Well, no, because I saw him there.
That's part of the problem, right?
Like, he's at one.
It's going to take a lot of work for the administration to really get students and alum behind the team. Plus,
we need consistent winning for several years to kind of just ingrain that just tradition of going to football games for the good time and everything. But there's other programs out there that have traditionally bad teams, but it's just become part of the college experiences to go, and it hasn't been a fun environment yet for it. So, I hear the attendance thing, and I'm like, all right, cool. But the difference is, we have 10,000, 15,000, whatever the number is we say we have there.
Right.
All right. So we have, if you see a Georgia State fan at a Georgia State game, that's actually a real fan of the team. They took time out of their day to go. They want to be there. They're a fan. These other programs, they're there because it's the thing to do. They don't give a crap about the team or the program. As soon as that team starts losing, they're out. They don't care. It's just the end thing to do, and we just got to make it the end thing. And so, the attendance thing is another one, like the baseball stadium, in one ear out the other. If that's your complaint. Your complaint about us is that we don't have enough fans. Okay.
I will say that it is our program that has created a situation where yes, it's easier when we're winning to get more butts in seats, but holy hell, our athletic department doesn't care about trying.
Yeah.
And it's problematic. And yeah, maybe we'd only get like 1,000 more people if they like had been trying this whole time, but like that's 1,000 more people than we had yesterday. That's a pretty sizable chunk. And I don't know. Winning, just win, baby, right? That'll work. But like also you need employees doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so like I do take that one to heart a little bit, because I'm like, man, if game day experience was better than it is, if they were marketing, if they were calling people for renewals, if they were doing all this other stuff, like we would have more attendance. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. The product in the field hasn't helped in that case. I get it. Don't we have like more like away wins in our winning seasons than we have home wins or something like that?
Yeah, and it sucks too, because like even when we win and we'll have like a marquee game at home and we lose it, it's like the culmination of like a good season is like, oh, we're at home and this is where we're gonna clinch our bowl game or something, and we just like suck. And
was it in
we don't just lose too, we're like terrible, like we're just like lousy on the field, right?
It looks like a
Benny Hill fucking, sorry, it looks like a Benny Hill episode or something out there.
Yeah, the was it the 23 season where we started off like 6-0 or whatever it was, and then Troy came in there and just embarrassed the hell out of us.
But I remember that tailgate, David. Like we were all out there. We're like, I don't know. Like we're all excited. We're super excited. We're like, this is amazing. This is awesome. But then we all had this underlying dread of, oh my God,
we know what's coming.
And it happens. It's just like, God, when are we going to get rid of this?
We went like 2 more games the rest of the season or something like that.
I don't remember. I don't want to know.
We won 1 game or something.
I was ready to be like, I think I said we get 5, maybe 6 wins, like barely. And I was like, I'm wrong, guys. It's like, no,
we're done. I think we got 7 that season. Was it 7? That's our most wins. Regular season is 7, I think. Yeah. So we got 1 more win that season. I
will say for the attendance part,
they're not wrong when they make fun of the attendance, but again, it's just like, okay. I don't know what the response is to it. We don't have fans.
Is like, your attendance sucks too. Like, eat a dick.
It's not as good as you want it to be.
Like what's wrong? Yeah, exactly. Like we all have poor attendance. Like what are you saying? Yeah, we could have done better. I definitely agree with that. But like, so could you have. And
you've had 80 years to fix this problem. We've had 15. So
at least at least we had the bright idea to like set up shop in Atlanta. You're in Statesboro? Like nobody's there, dude.
Yeah. I do think for the attendance,
so we've kind of directed a lot of these comments back towards Trash Down South fans, because obviously they're the ones that say the most about us. But I see a lot of this coming from Jimmy Madison fans. I think Jimmy Madison's becoming a rival from the message board, internet troll type side of things. They're talking a lot of smack about Georgia State now.
Well, and do you remember TDS year 1 when they first came to FBS and they came out thumping their chests, and then they brought it too for that year 1. They brought it. They had a hell of a year along with Appy. every other year after that, they have fallen and fallen and fallen and fallen and just continued to fall. They are just in a free fall right now, and they need to chill out. And Jimmy Madison needs to be careful because, while Appy did not have such a fall, they're not great anymore. Last year they sucked, right? I mean, like I know they beat
They beat
us.
us by 1 touchdown. That's how bad.
Well,
That's how bad Appy was. They only beat us by 1
yeah,
touchdown.
I'll say that tells you how bad they were.
You've
right?
fallen.
Yeah.
All right. The other. Do you guys have a insult that you guys want to talk about? I've been bringing these up. Do you guys have one you want to talk about?
I didn't pay attention to the video enough to actually pull the
I just
insults
meant in
out.
general. I spent in general. Like another one is a commuter school. Like, Georgia State's a commuter school.
I mean, we are and we're not. I don't. I mean, I think we're a hybrid. We're more hybrid now.
We were a commuter school 100% up until about I guess 99% up until like 96, and then or 97 I should say, and that's when the village, what do they call them? Not the old people home, the Olympic
Village storms.
Yeah. When those opened up, that was the first time we had like legit dorms.
Insanely hard to get into dorms. I tried to get in as a transfer student. They're like, "You're number 5012 on the list." I'm like, well, I ain't gonna live there, that's for sure.
You didn't want to be there that first year. I had a friend of mine from high school who was in there the very first year, and she said like clockwork, the fire alarms went off at 2 a.m. every morning.
Well, when we traded those with Tech, there were bricks falling off onto the highway. Like they were like falling apart.
Yeah, if you
got rid of it at a good time.
You go through that insane build for an Olympics. Like, we got to build. Like, all right, we've been awarded the Olympics. We've got 4 years or whatever it is, 5 years to build out all this stuff for the Olympics. Yeah, maybe some corners are cut here and there.
A corner or two. Just if you stack bricks but don't actually affix them, eventually they fall, right?
Well, these people only live here for like 3 months, so
I don't need to put mortar between the bricks because there'll be another brick on top of that one, and that one will
hold
the other one down. Yeah. No, but commuter school, yeah, sure. We were commuter school up until 97, and we now have I forget the last number I saw was like just shy of 10,000 students living on campus between school and private housing. All right, cool. That's a lot.
We're much more traditional than we used to be. It's not like, I mean, I know people that go to Georgia State that don't live in the dorms, but they do live close by in student apartments and all the other things that have popped up. It's not cool anymore to live in like the university dorms. A lot of people like to live in the student apartments because they're freaking nice.
Yeah. Well, also think about this. You look at Statesboro or Monroe, Mobile, Boone, whatever. There are not a lot of options on where to live. If you're going to go to school there, you've got to live on campus. Yeah.
I would be a commuter at TDS. I would live in Savannah, and I would telecommute.
Ryan, if you live in Savannah and are a student at Georgia Southern, I would tell you to go east and just trust me. Go 45 miles east and just trust me.
Go 45.
Drown in the ocean.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm in the ocean at that point. What are we talking about here?
Were you sending Ryan to die? Jesus.
But I love you, buddy, but I would rather see you die than go to Georgia Southern. So
my little sister is now talking about going after she graduates from UGA, going up to Charleston, and I was like, that's a pretty good choice. I can get down with that.
I can get behind that one.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, commuter school just doesn't bug me like at all. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know what the insult is. Okay.
I mean, I commuted to that school for many years, so it was great. I mean, the opportunity was good. I got to live where it was a lot less expensive to live and work full time the entire time I was a student, and like I don't think that's bad. I'm glad there was that opportunity. That's not, who cares? It's not for everybody, and that's okay. That's fine too. If you want a more traditional campus, that's fine. Go. There's plenty of them out there. It's not like everyone has to be that traditional campus. We're not.
Yeah.
We're in the city, and we accommodate a lot of different lifestyles. And That's fine. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
We're absolutely not a commuter school anymore. We're not.
We're not a commuter school anymore.
That's the wrong label for Georgia State.
Is there like a percentage of on-campus living where you become not a commuter school? I literally don't even know
1%.
That
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't even know like where the argument comes in. Like, at what point are you a commuter school if like 40% of your students don't live on campus? But like, what is on campus? You can have an apartment like
on
adjacent
campus.
to campus that is not on campus, quote unquote.
I think they include that in the private housing.
Okay, because I mean, like, I lived over near you, David, on LaFrance. That's not on campus, but I was a MARTA stop away. I mean, it was really easy. It was really easy to get to campus from there. Whatever, man. I was hungover. But I mean, it's like what. It's not that far. I don't know. Like, lots of people in Athens live on campus further away from their classrooms than I was.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
What does it mean?
Just to give the school like a little, give them a little thumbs up. I mean, they've invested in the campus. They've tried to make it more campus. They tried to like get dorms and other student apartments close together. They've tried to like have the placement of the markers of campus. Like they're definitely doing a lot more than Georgia State of 1998, 99, 2000, and so on to make it more of a campus. And I think we need to continue pushing that direction. Like when we ever finish the athletics neighborhood, is that what they call it? I don't know. Complex. We should.
You're just talking about Summerhill.
Summerhill. We should really brand that as much as we can to make it connected.
Yeah, it's too bad that Panthersville is actually like the name of an area that we can't just.
Could we just
rebrand the complex as Panthersville?
Hey, you can learn about that in your history class.
I actually think it's wild that Panthersville is named completely independent of us, and we just happen to also be there.
Do you think it was like the beginning of Coming to America, where he's in Africa and he's like, I need to find a queen. Where do I go? And he spins a globe and finds Queens, New York. It's like, Queens. Do you think that back when we were trying to find athletic facility space, someone was like looking at a map of Georgia and said, all right, where can we do this? Panthersville.
That works.
That matches.
I didn't think that before, David, but now that is canon in my head. That is exactly how it went down.
Yeah. Showed up and found the closest McDowell's to work at. It's a great
They got
movie.
McDonald's over there.
Only because they bought out McDowell's.
Yeah.
McDowell's.
What a good movie.
Great movie. The second one, not so much. All right. I don't know.
Even knew that existed.
Those were the 3 insults that I had that get commonly made about Georgia State.
I mean, the other one is just the weird blanket, like you live in you go to school like in a ghetto, or there are gay kids that go there, and they try to paint Atlanta like it's Thunderdome, like you come here and it's just like this post-apocalyptic hellscape that like everyone just lives this lawless whatever, and I'm like, dude, it's just a city. There's just a lot of people and a lot of different people, and like it's cool, and there's some crime and like it sucks. Atlanta's actually not that bad on the violent crime scale. Like we have more property crime than I think your average city. But as far as violent crime goes, we're not that bad. And as long as you stay away from that QT across the street from the dorms, you're fine.
Racetrack and it's closed.
Racetrack, yeah, exactly. I mean, whatever. I didn't have that when I was there. I mean, you just didn't go to Hart Park when I was there.
Let's be honest. Everyone that lives outside of Atlanta is going to think Atlanta is a hellscape, dangerous place. It doesn't matter.
Why? I didn't live in Atlanta. I loved it. I came down here every chance I got because it was just cool.
My favorite thing to do when I was originally in school, my favorite thing to do when I would go down there is to get the Signal when it came out on Tuesdays. And the only thing I ever read in the Signal was I'd go to, I think it was like the second page at the bottom was the crime reports in there, and just read what it says. And they were the most petty of crimes, except for the dude that was enjoying the library a little too much. And that's why I always look for more reports of that guy. and that was the biggest crime that I saw that was reported in the Signal.
Like, the newspaper.
It's either that or getting hit by MARTA buses. You know.
Oh man!
Yeah. I was trying to find out if they caught me, Ryan.
Players, didn't one of our basketball players actually get hit and die from one of the buses?
I think so. Back in the early 2000s, I think.
From one of the what?
Yeah.
One of the buses?
Yeah. A MARTA bus, I think.
I never got close to a MARTA bus. I never got that close to a MARTA bus.
I'd just be careful. They'll
look,
run you over. I mean,
people.
And I made that hike. I make that hike from the what do they call it, the Commons or whatever, all the way over to Adderhold. I made that trip back and forth several times, and it was never an issue. Like it was like Hurt Park, Woodruff Park that I was just trying to avoid.
People to this day get upset with me for jaywalking because I'll just cross the street wherever the hell I want because I was a Georgia State student. Why wouldn't I do that?
You cross where you cross, right?
But as far as Georgia State students go, I was pretty medium with that because I witnessed some people crossing in front of like really dangerous places. Like I'm like, what are you doing? And then, they're like, oh, well, I have the right of way. I'm like, oh well, that's what your tombstone will say. Here lies so and so. They had the right of way.
That intersection right there where Walters is, that was just like madness.
That's a good one though. It's just
that intersection was packed.
Yeah. Wow.
You got that McDonald's kiosk right there, Walters. Right?
Dude, that McDonald's.
That kiosk, that was never a McDonald's for me. That was like a hot dog stand when I was there.
Yeah.
Really?
I think the McDonald's got shut down for health code violations.
The McDonald's at Grady was there, and that was
Grady
that place was always a shit show. You go down there, you didn't go there for the McDonald's, you went there for the show.
There was definitely a show. I went there one time.
I never saw this, so I've got no idea if it's true, but I heard this when I was in school, and it stopped me from going to that McDonald's little cargo thing. It was that the guy in the back, he had long fingernails, and instead of using his spatulas, he was just using his fingernails to flip the meat.
Somebody made that shit up.
Hey, it's being cooked, all right?
Hey, that McDonald's was like clutch at certain times, like but when you make that walk back and forth, get your little cheeseburger and fries. Yeah. You don't have time to get all the way to Chick-fil-A at the Student Center
or the Hooters at Underground.
I made time for the Hooters at Underground.
I did too. I was like, hey, this is fantastic. Look at this Underground. It's got everything.
Yeah, but Hooters, again, I think I'm just later than you guys. By the time I was there, Hooters had shit food. Oh, because they used to have good wings. The wings used to be good. They're shit now.
I was not there for the food, man.
Oh.
I would go.
Oh, well, I just go sit in the library if I wanted to. Back to that guy in the newspaper. I just go sit in the library if I want to see hot girls.
That's not. That's also not why I was at the Hooters. No, there was only one semester where the Hooters became a mainstay, and that's when I had my sociology class of sexology, I think is what it was called. And it was just basically, it was a sociology class about sex. And so I met up the people that were my group that we got, because like every class at Georgia State has a group project. So my group, we decided just to meet up before sex. We called it sex class. We would meet before sex class and go to Hooters, and we were all, older people. We'd all just go there and drink beer, get a couple pitchers of beer, and then go to sex class and just cut up and have a blast. That was fun.
The beer for me was Sensational Subs. I just get my
I never went to Sin Subs until I never ever stepped foot in Sin Subs until Coach Hunter and I started going to basketball games.
Oh yeah,
and people said that's where you go. I was like, I walked past it 1,000 times.
Really?
Never walked in.
Yeah. I get a chicken Philly and a pitcher of whatever I think it was normally Natty Light, but I think the guy told me one time it was whatever he could get a deal on. So it was like typically Natty Light, but like sometimes you get a bonus, sometimes
whatever the PBR, Keystone Light.
Yeah, Keystone, something like that. But who gives a shit? They give you a whole pitcher for like $1.
I'll take 2, please.
I don't remember how much it cost, but it was like nothing. And then it was so funny. I was sitting in there one day, and I probably told this story on the podcast before, but this cop came in and asked the guy if he had seen somebody, had a picture of him. Have you seen this man? We think he's in the area, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no. And then the cop leaves, and the guy behind the counter just looks over at me. He goes, oh, thank God he didn't go upstairs, because none of those people are 21. Like, but he was just like, oh my God. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I hid this guy. That's not where the story was going. But he was just like, as soon as the cop came in, he came over. As soon as the cop left, he just looked at us like, oh my God, I thought I was in trouble.
Yeah.
We're like on memory lane this episode, huh?
Yeah.
It's like
it's a nice little time. Yeah.
Well, people talk shit about the school, and these are things that are good, right? These are things that we like about our school mostly. Like, attendance is not something I like, but everything else, I'm like, man, these are.
It's that imprint on your memory, you know.
Food choices at Adderall around there, fantastic choices for
meals. I would go to that. I spent so much money at that Moe's and Smoothie King same time. Go get my Moe's, go get my Smoothie King, and then go to class at Adderhold. Man,
I still go to Dua.
Dua's good.
I love it.
Yeah,
that Bumbleway. You go to any pho place, and you'll go there, and pho is fine. It's okay. But Bumbleway is like a pork broth, and it's got this like layer of oil on top of it, and it's nice and spicy, and it's got all the meat and stuff in it. Dude, it is phenomenal. And Dua is the best.
All right, we can get into this more in last call. I still have a few things I want to talk about. We're already like,
oh, sorry. Yeah. Good.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You brought one of you guys, I forget, brought up the college football 26 game with Georgia State. Are either you guys going to get the game, or have you gotten the game?
I probably get it for my iPhone, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't have a system, games for like $80 now.
I don't have a system that plays it. I don't have time to play it. I'm a college student. I can't afford it, nor do I have the time to do it. So.
Wait, that's exactly when you get games, right?
Sorry. I'm a Georgia State commuter student, so I don't have time or anything.
Okay, there you go. That's better.
No, but I think it'll be interesting with that game, because we talked about before how they're going to pay out schools based off of how many games are played by specific teams.
I got my nephew playing Georgia State.
There you go, smart man. I think it'd be interesting because you would think that the historically bad programs or the new schools would be the bottom of the list, but there's so many people that play those programs just to have the harder difficulty level of winning championships. I think you'll find out Georgia State and some other programs are going to be a lot higher on the payout list than what you expect them to be. Like everybody gets the game. Anybody that went to Ohio State is going to get the game, and they're going to play as Ohio State, and they're going to win like 5 national championships, get bored with the game. Like, all right, cool. Let me pick another school. Oh yeah. Like, my dad is from Atlanta. I'm going to pick Georgia State, or some crap like that, And I think you'll see that it'll probably be some mid-tier school, like higher mid schools that are actually probably at the very, very bottom of the list, because so many people are picking up the non-historically
the challenge schools.
Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see what those numbers look like in a year or two whenever they release them.
Yeah. That's what I always pick the worst school. I'd even pick the FCS Southeast Dragons or whatever. I'm like, why not?
Oh, UAB.
Ooh. I think so. Yeah.
It's a shots fired to UAB from Ryan.
No, I think they did probably model them after smaller programs in the area, but yeah.
All right, I have other stuff to talk about, but we're already cresting an hour. You guys wanted to roll into last call?
Sure, whatever, man.
Sure.
You got something else, Tim?
Last call last week was what, 5 minutes, or the week before?
It was short.
5 minutes. We should probably.
No, wait, 5 minutes. That's perfectly acceptably long. 5 minutes is long enough.
Is that what your wife tells you?
That's what I tell her.
That's extra time.
She complains. I'm like,
she's like, "Oh no, this is too long."
How can we shorten this?
Tim, was there something else you wanted to talk about?
No. Let's move on to last call. Right.
All right, sounds good. You want to take us out of here?
Sure. Thanks everyone for listening. We're gonna take a quick break here. Head over to last call. Restock the bevs, obviously, because I think this went way long and I only hear ice. If you liked what you heard or you didn't, join our Patreon anyway at patreon.com/State of Atlanta. Live streaming access, discounts on merch, group chat, breaking news, booze at tailgates, and more. David will fill in the more. I don't know if we're still running a promotion, but $5 a
Yeah.
month, you become a fan of the show. Promotion right now, it's BOGO.
Off 5.
Off 5. Off 5. We'd love to have you aboard. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.